Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everyone. Jason here with a ton of amazing news for the No Man's Sky 4.0 update. So, if you did not know, the Switch version, the Nintendo Switch version of No Man's Sky comes out this Friday, October 7th. You guys probably saw some leaks. People over in France got it early. Dang it, why couldn't I live in France? Anyway, it's coming out Friday, but there's also a 4.0 update. And now we know a ton of details, including when it's coming out, Friday, spoiler alert, new game modes, and kind of what's going to be in the 4.0 update. So I am super pumped up, you guys. Hopefully you guys like the video. If you do, hit that like button for me real fast. And let's jump into those details. So I saw this tweet by Procedural Traveler. Always be following Procedural Traveler because he has all the good info. He's like on the ball. He knows what he's doing. So he saw an article from Eurogamer where Sean Murray was being interviewed, giving more details. Just came out today. I'm going to link that article down below in the description. And also, guys, I'm going to link his Twitter profile down below. Follow Procedural Traveler. So let's jump into this article from Eurogamer, specifically from Matt Wales. I almost said Matt West. Matt Wales is his name. This is a No Man's Sky Sean Murray Talks Switch, this week's 4.0 update, and the future of No Man's Sky. Guys, this is going to be freaking awesome. I am like on the edge of my seat. So the article's really long. They go into like the relationship and what No Man or Hello Games has been doing. But let's jump into the meat of the details here. So on No Man's Sky's 4.0 update. As it happens, No Man's Sky's next major update, known as 4.0, isn't far away, arriving this Friday, October 7th, alongside the game's Switch port. So now we know the update is not going to come out on Wednesday like it usually does. It is scheduled to come out Friday, which is very, very different, very weird than what they normally do. Normally, it's a Wednesday release. That way they can go through, they can bug fix, they can patch it all up before the weekend. It looks like they're going to have both hit at the same time. Friday is going to be massive, you guys. So, as of right now, according to this article, the update is coming out on Friday at the same time as the Switch version of the game. And then they kind of go into the details of it. This is from Sean Murray, a quote from Sean Murray. For me, he continues, the update is for if you've said, look, I played No Man's Sky and I wanted to love it, but I bumped off it a bit because it was a bit grindy, or if you said I want to go back, but it's been ages and there's been so many updates and it feels overwhelming. You've probably had this experience where you've come to a game and it's been updated a ton, and some of those don't fit as cohesively as you'd like. We hear this sometimes, and I think it's true. And so what we've done in 4.0 is we've revisited a bunch of things that are really impactful to the design perspective. So, guys, this sounds like it's not going to be adding a ton of content there. They definitely are. Later on in the article, don't get me wrong, they will be adding some really big features, but a lot of the 4.0 update is like it sounds like what I was suggesting earlier. They're going to go through and they're going to clean up the game. They're going to say, hey, look, we just piled on all these different updates. We've had 20 updates and they just went one on top of the other on top of the other. Now we're going to go through and conjoin them together. So make it make sense. Instead of like the living ship, you have to go buy a void egg and then follow the void egg. And you have no idea unless someone tells you what to do. You don't know what the heck is going on. Now it'll be kind of in the story. It'll be in the game. Like it'll fit in a way that makes sense. So that makes a lot of sense. And from the sounds of it, it looks like they're trying to make it more appealing to those people who either never played No Man's Sky or they did like a year or two ago and they said, look, I tried to jump in there. There's so much going on. There's so many new things and they're all randomly placed everywhere. It doesn't make sense. I'm just not going to play it anymore. Hopefully this update will fix that. And that's what looks like or sounds like what they're trying to do with this new update. And then he continues on. To that end, 4.0 features a lot of streamlining in terms of tutorial. When you unlock certain things, what's available to you, all intended to fit in No Man's Sky's 6 years of updates. into a more cohesive whole. Okay, this is what we were just talking about. That streamlining will also extend to the game's inventory system, which in turn has enabled Hello Games to massively increase what is effectively the level cap, meaning bigger inventories and the opportunity to level up some ships and weapons further than was possible before. So what this sounds like to me is we're going to get an increase because we already have a general inventory that's really big. We have a cargo inventory that's really big as well. We're going to see an inventory limit on our technology. So you're going to be able to fit more upgrades in your exosuit, your multi-tool, and your starships. It doesn't sound like, I mean, maybe they're going to increase the cap limit like 9,999. I doubt it. It sounds like it's just going to be the inventory spaces in your technology. So your technology inventory is going to be increased from the sound of it. Again, this is all we're trying to guess and figure out what Sean Murray's telling us. He's not outright saying, hey, yeah, your technology is increased. He doesn't say that, but it sounds like that's what he means by that, which is really good. That way you can upgrade, and maybe they'll allow us to have more than 3 upgrades in our inventory. Because right now we're locked in. You can only have 3 of the same upgrades in your technology slots and 3 in your general. So you can have 6 total upgrades for the same item. But maybe they're going to remove that cap and say, hey, look, you can put whatever you want. If you want all of your, your shield upgrades, you want to fill the entire inventory with just shielded, upgrades, go for it, which is going to be crazy. Can you imagine having like 21 shield upgrades? That way you can just never, ever, your shield never breaks. That'd be amazing. But who knows? We don't know the details for sure. It does sound like inventory is going to be upgraded. And the only way I personally can see it is in your technology inventory. So let's move on to the further down in the article. Additionally, 4.0 introduces No Man's Sky's first new game mode since the arrival of creative and survival in 2016's Foundation update. We're getting a new game mode, you guys, but it's not the one I was hoping for. I thought it was going to be like a story mode, like it's just going to focus on your story and then you can go into a survival or whatever. No, actually, they're going to change it up completely. They are adding, let me go farther into the article here. As part of the goal, 4.0 adds a new relaxed mode, playable with either a fresh save or an existing save. So you can go into this mode with a pre-existing save. You can just start a relaxed mode edition of it, which Sean Murray calls a very fun version of No Man's Sky, where the focus is on exploration and less on survival and grinding. So it's going to be the opposite. So it's not a creative mode. They're not going to let you have everything, but it's going to be like, it sounds like it's going to be less intrusive. So you're not going to have to worry about your hazard protection. You're not going to be attacked by sentinels as often. It's going to be more relaxed and you just going around and looking at things and building, which is kind of awesome. It's kind of an in-between normal mode and creative. It's going to be even easier than normal mode, but not as easy as creative, it sounds like. Less on the surviving and grinding, where it's easier to see the 6 years of content that's there. Yeah, so it's going to be not focused on grinding to get your character, your upgrades and everything. It's more about exploring all the cool updates. This, he says, works well for first-time players. But I think it's also a common request from people who might have longer playthroughs, who might just want a game where they kick back and relax. So if you beat the game, you have all the upgrades, and you're just like, well, what do I do now? Maybe you go through this mode and it'll help you, just explore and find really cool planets. There you go. And then deeper on in the article, we also have another upgrade, a sneaky little sentence that I can't believe he puts down almost at the bottom of the article. It says, custom games, meanwhile, will enable players to create bespoke sessions that better fit their needs at any given time, featuring options to adjust everything from controls to difficulty to how a lot of those sort of fundamentals work in terms of the pacing of the game, which opens up a whole bunch of different ways to play the game that weren't there before. So we are getting a custom game mode. Holy crap. And right above that, you guys, survival is currently, I think, at its strongest in the first few hours as a game mode. So we made it much more challenging, much more unique experience. So they are going through and they are changing game mode. Survival is going to be harder, more challenging. They're also giving us a custom game mode, which is going to be awesome. We've been asking for that forever. Let us make, a no starter ship challenge or a no HUD challenge. Whatever it is, we can now make that. Well, we will be able to make that, it sounds like, from this article. That is going to be cool. It's going to be built into the game, so you can just turn it on, turn it off. That way people could just play it the way you think, the rules should be. That's going to open up a whole bunch of cool playthroughs. I love that idea. And then we have some details on the Switch version. Now, we found out earlier that there's going to be some things missing from the Switch version. We know multiplayer is not going to be part of the Switch version. And then we found out settlements are not going to be part of the Switch version. But now we're getting more details on what that means, actually. So Sean Murray says, ultimately, the studio opted to make 2 key features concessions, to cut out 2 features. First is the sprawling town-like settlements introduced in last year's Frontiers update will be missing. So the most performance-intensive things, the very biggest constructs, are something we wanted to sort of avoid on Switch. The reason why they couldn't do settlements, though, it sounds like everything else is there from the Frontiers update. They only had to cut out the settlements because it is just performance. It just kills the Switch. It's too intense for the Switch to handle. So that's why they can't put in settlements or multiplayer, by the way. Multiplayer, same thing. And I can tell you, as a PC player, when you turn on multiplayer, performance goes down. And I'm playing on a full-on PC with some really heavy specs on it. I couldn't even imagine trying to get multiplayer to work on a Nintendo Switch. So they said, hey, look, we had to cut it out just to make sure it would fit on the Switch. So holy cow. Guys, there's so much information here. I would highly suggest, I'm going to link the article down below in the description and the pinned comment. Go down there and look at the article yourself. There's tons of details in here. The last thing I'm going to leave you guys with, guys, we know that Hello Games, Sean Murray, they've been working on a brand new game. There's a new game. It's not going to be, as far as we know, it is not going to be a sequel to No Man's Sky. It's an entirely different thing. And we got just a little bit more detail on what that might be. So right at the end of the article, Matt asks him about the future of Hello Games and what they might be working on. And he says, Sean Murray concludes with, and I think in 5 years' time, 5 years from now, I will look back and think, Christ, how did we get all this done with a few people? I think our next project is quite far along, and it's a lot farther along than No Man's Sky was when we announced that. And I'm enjoying that. I'm quite happy to be in that place. So their next game is already farther along than when they first announced No Man's Sky. That to me says, number one, in 5 years' time, that means it's going to come out within the next 5 years. That means we have kind of a time frame. Within the next 5 years, we're going to see their new game. And right now, it is farther along than when they first announced No Man's Sky, which means we might be seeing an announcement of whatever they're working on coming up. So I would say, my personal opinion, keep your eyes peeled for the Game Awards in December. So if you guys don't know, Sean Murray announced No Man's Sky at the Game Awards way back. I think it was in 2014. So 2014, they announced it. It didn't launch until 2016. And even then, 2016 one might have been a little too early because, everyone knows the No Man's Sky was really not finished when it was, released. So we're thinking, if I had to put a guess on it, this is all speculation, we might see an announcement, initial announcement of their new game in December. And then we might see the game come out 2025-ish. So 2 or 3 years from now after they announce it. Could be. I mean, he says they're farther along. So that could be even less time. Less than 2 years. Maybe 2024, 2023. I don't know about I don't know about next year. I don't think we're going to see an announcement and then it released next year. I think more than likely 2024 if at the earliest for this, but I'm glad to be wrong. If Sean Murray and Hello Games wants to announce their game and then launch it next year, I will take it. I will gladly accept it. But realistically, 2024 is probably where I would put that game. So we have at least another year of really good updates for No Man's Sky. Guys, there's a ton of information here. Hopefully you guys like the video. This is a little bit longer than I usually go, but there's a lot of information here. So hopefully you guys liked it. And hopefully I will see you guys on Friday when the 4.0 update comes out. And you know I'm going to be streaming that Switch version. You guys can probably see it. I can't link out to it because it's leaked. But you could probably catch some gameplay of it. But officially, I will be streaming the Switch version of No Man's Sky on Friday, October 7th. That's less than a week from now. 4 days from now, we will be playing the Switch version, and I can't wait. So I will see you guys in the next video.